Hello.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
sir. Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Can, can I start?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you can.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So, good evening to all, and thank you very much for affording me this opportunity to address the students of Peace Public School to have an interaction with the new gen or the new generation so that the ideas can be exchanged in between us. And I feel that this is a proud moment by which I am able to have an interaction or a discussion with the young students of Peace Public School. They have started since 11 years. And I think that the initiative or the motto of the school is to create or to build up social responsible citizens in the country. Nowadays, it is lacking in our country. So, the education, the process of education is one of the methods by which we are able to provide good citizens to the country. Merely acquiring the knowledge and empowerment of our strength by knowledge is not the only thing, but to have proper, suitable model citizens to the country who believes in values, ethos of our country. Definitely, I feel that the Peace Public School, which has started since long 11 years in our district, and it is having a wonderful track record in the field of education, especially in the field of this education through the English medium. And I hope that since the time is very short and limited, I think better to who you may ask the questions so that I can respond to you to the questions. I think that is the session which you are desiring to have. So, first of all, I take this opportunity to congratulate all the students of Peace Public School, and I wish you all a very good future in your future career. You all know we are living in a pandemic situation. We are not able to have an actual class or an actual interaction with the students, but only through the media of online we can have an interaction. Even that is an opportunity, we are making use of it. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in his speech always he told to the people, pupils, the students, that whenever there is a challenge, you take up the challenge and make it as an opportunity. Those who take the challenges as an opportunity is having big success in their life. So I would like to reiterate Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the former president of India, and one of the biggest personality of Indian politics, not only in Indian politics, in atomic science. He again and again reiterated and advised to the new generation that take the challenges, make the challenges as the opportunities. Here, you during the last pandemic period, it was a challenge before us, but the students, the new generation students, you have took up the challenge as an opportunity to have the online education through which you last time appear for the examinations and had a wonderful result. So definitely we have to keep it in our mind. That is, knowledge is power. Empowerment of our human society through knowledge is one of the biggest way by which the society can be empowered. And with these words, I conclude my opening remarks and wishing you all the and I to you so that you can ask the questions. I will try my level best to satisfy by my response to your questions. Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable information. Next, we are moving to the interaction section. So, first of all, I call Fatima Mohammed Jaya for asking the question. Good evening, sir. I am Fatima Mohammed Jaya of grade 6. So today we are here to ask you some questions. So let me go through my first question, that is, what is the beauty of being a leader in India? I repeat, what is the beauty of being a leader in India?
The primary duty of a leader, not only in India, wherever it may be, is to address the cause of the people, especially the marginalized sections of the society. We know that leader means who leads the country, who leads the people. A person who leads the country or leads the people should have or should possess the qualities. So many qualities. So definitely the leadership quality shall maintain. How to maintain the leadership quality? My suggestion, number first suggestion is that you have to keep it in mind that you are leading a nation or you are leading the people of our country. So definitely the marginalized and the neglected sections of the society have to be keep it in mind so that we will be able to have social justice, economic justice in our country. I think that the best way by which a leader can perform is to bring the marginalized sections of the society in the mainstream. That should be the first and prime duty or the responsibility of a public representative or a leader. For a minute.
Thank you, Fatima. Hope you got the answer. Next, I would like to welcome Muhammad Ilyas for the second question.
Sir, I would like to ask, what is politics in your point of view? I repeat again, what is politics in your point of view?
Sir, you're muted.
Sir, you are mute.
Sorry. See, politics means everything in our day-to-day life. The day-to-day life of a particular society or a particular country is being done through the politics. Politics shall never means that politics of a particular party. Politics means it is concerning with the nation and the issues of the. What is a nation? Nation means the people of a particular territorial area by which we are saying that it is a nation. So nation means the society, the people of the country. So definitely a politics means to address the issues of the people. Definitely that is the politics and maintain the nationhood and to satisfy the needs of the needs of the people of the country. That is what is meant by politics. Every issue there is a political resolution is there. But unfortunately, nowadays, politics has become the most selfish area by which people are being oriented towards the gains of the personal gains, not for the common gains. So politics means it is absolutely a common thing. It is concerning the people of the country, all the issues, your education, employment, poverty alleviation, and sports, games, empowerment, everything will come under the purview of this politics. So it has no definition, particular definition. It is beyond all the definitions. Politics has its own wider meaning. That is my impression, which I would like to make.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ilyas. Hope you are happy with the answer. Next, I'm going to call Ahsan of grade 7th.
He later of you.
If not, you call some others, Amina. You can call someone.
Okay, next I would like to call Neha Sulbat of grade 6th.
Good evening, sir. I'm Neha Sulbat from grade 6. So my question is, who is your favorite politician and why? I repeat, who is your favorite politician and why? Thank you, sir.
Your question is not clear. Could you please repeat?
Who is your favorite politician and why?
It's not clear. Could somebody else? Hello?
So
Hello?
who is your favorite politician?
Pardon?
So
Who is your favorite?
politician?
Favorite politician?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, I cannot say a specific answer to that question because so many political leaders are like, because of the eminent, especially if you examine Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, who is the architect of the modern India. I like him the best because only because of him. Now, I realize that only because of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and leaders like those personalities, only because of them, the nation India or our Bharat now it has become or it is still surviving as a secular democratic republic only because of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Because at the time of division of India and Pakistan during the 1947-48 period, the people, there were big debate was there, big controversy was there, but at the same time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru took a very strong stand that India should be secular, India should be democratic. It shall never be a religious state. It shall never be a Hindu state or a Muslim state, but it should be a secular democratic republic. So definitely Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal, the first Prime Minister of the country, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, is the real person to be admired for having this secular democracy in our country. And so many other stalwarts, even Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who has contributed a lot of things in bringing up this Union of India. Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, at the time of the division, he stood for India as a secular fabric, and he said that all the Muslims in the country should remain India, and India shall remain a secular democracy. So such stalwarts are being forgotten from the history, and now the history is being changed. They want now the rulers or those who are in office of administration are trying their level best to change the history. Even Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's name is being ignored from the history by the Indian Historic Research Council. This is being happening. So definitely I would say that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is one of the very important leaders whom I like very much. Along with my party leaders, so many party leaders, Comrade N. Srikandan Nair, G.K. Divagaran, Baby John, all those leaders of my party are all my beloved leaders. But at the same time, if you examine as a national leader, definitely Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's contribution in becoming India as a secular democratic republic, definitely it is a wonderful achievement of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So I admire him much more.
Thank you, sir. I also love Chacha. Thank you, sir. We also love Chacha ji.
Thank you, Neha. Hope you got the right answer. Next, I would like to call Afra Shawbir.
Good evening, sir. I am Afra Saubir of grade 9. My question is, as an MP, what is your stand on corruption? How will you take a principled stand against it? I repeat, what is your stand on corruption? How will you take a principled stand against it?
Corruption is a menace to the Indian democratic politics. Because the corruption will definitely destroy the basic values of democracy. So we have to fight out the corruption. Yes, I can very well say that we can be very honest, we can be beyond corruption. And in order to have a healthy democracy in our country, the corruption has to be curtailed. It is a menace. It is spreading like cancer. So if it spread like this, definitely the democratic ethos of our country will be lost, and that will be adversely affecting the Indian democratic system. So corruption has to be curbed at any cost, for which there are so many legislations are there. The parliament as well as the state legislative assemblies have enacted so many legislations. But you have to understand one thing, that the political mindset has to be changed. Not only the political leadership, even the people of our country have to change their mindset. Not to give money by way of corruption is also very important. We should have the civic conscience. We should have the commitment to the nation. That is, corruption is a menace to the democratic fabric of our country. That has to be curbed. Only through legislation we can never curb corruption. Along with the legislations or enactment and enforcement through the government measures, Along with that, the political education is also highly essential. Political education among the people of our country against corruption is highly essential so that we will be able to curb corruption and we can fight out the corruption along with the legislation, along with the laws, along with the enforcement. We should be educated how to eradicate corruption from our society. I think the new generation like you the young people, because the future of the country, future of the society belongs to you. You are the future builders of the nation. Definitely, you have to try and you have to fight to eradicate and curb corruption from our society. This is my suggestion to you all.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Afra. Hope you are satisfied with the answer. Next, I would like to call Aisha Hamid for the next question.
Good evening, sir. I'm Aisha Hamid of class 9. So my question is, what's your stand for farmers issue that facing in India?
See,
I repeat.
I got the question. See, you see the three enactments or the legislations made by the parliament is for monopolizing the agricultural field for the corporates. The three laws are not for the farmers. Because the multinational corporations after 1990, the neoliberal economic reforms, I don't know how far you are able to understand the issue. After 1991, because of this neoliberal economic reforms, rampant privatization and corporatization has come into effect. Now here what is being done? The market will be controlled by the corporates. And the laws which were passed by the Parliament were not discussed in detail. The farmers were not taken into confidence. Unilaterally, the government, using their huge majority in Parliament, enacted these legislations, and the farmers are in strike for the last 1 year. It is quite unfortunate to note that the issues are not being discussed so far. Even the Prime Minister of the country had no time so as to discuss the issue with the farmers. So far, not even a single meeting is convened by the Honorable Prime Minister so as to resolve the issue. This is the way the government of India is handling the farmers' agitation. So the farmers' agitation is absolutely genuine. Their demand is to have a remunerative price for the farm produce, and for which the laws which are being enacted will be utilized or will be useful for the multinational corporations, not for the farmers. So the laws passed by the Parliament have to be repealed. That is my strong opinion, for which we are with the farmers and we are with the agitation. We fully support and declare our solidarity with the fighting force of the farmers in our country.
Thank you, Aisha. Hope you got the answer. Next, I would like to call Safa Shafiq of grade 7th for the next question.
Good evening, sir. I'm Safa Shafiq from grade 7. Okay, so my question is, when you present a bill in the parliament, what kind of planning you should take? I repeat my question. When you present a bill in the parliament, what kind of planning you should take?
In order to introduce a bill in Parliament, first you have an idea about the bill. What is the intent of the bill? That is the main thing. What is the intent and what is the motive of the bill? What you want to acquire or what you want to achieve out of the bill. So that is the first thing. Then we have to moot up the idea. For example, the right to information. Now I am intending to introduce a bill to have this. Rahul Gandhi has declared this 6,000 rupees for all people who are in need, and the minimum income support guarantee scheme. So we have to moot up an idea, then draft the bill and submit it to the Parliament. They will get it corrected and we can introduce the bill. The theme of the bill depends on the whim and fancy of each political representative or each members of Parliament or the legislative members of the Legislative Assembly. Anyway, I have moved so many private members' bills. none of the members have come up for discussion because you know that only one day is being allotted for private members' day. But almost all the bills are official bills, or it will be called by the government bills. When a government bill comes, we are having a right to move amendments, and we can put up suggestions. Unfortunately, the government is not accepting any of our amendments. Even then, for our sake and in order to mark our opposition, or in order to record our opposition, we will put up our amendments and we will put our observations along with that. So, in bringing a bill, so many procedures are there. It is very difficult as far as you, for the time being, to understand the procedure to be followed in bringing up a bill. But the main thing is, what is the intent of the bill? That is the main thing to be first decided. Then you can draft the bill. The Lok Sabha Secretariat or the Parliament Secretariat will help you in drafting the bill and introducing the bill before the Parliament.
Thank you for your answer, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Safa. Hope you got the right answer. Next, I would like to call Alina Sena of grade 6.
Thank you, sir, for the street light and the building road of bypass for us. Sir, I have a question to you. The question is, who is the important vote or voter and why? I repeat the question, who is the important vote or voter and why?
The question is not clear. Can you please repeat?
Sir, the question is, who is the important vote or voter and why?
Who is the important vote or voter?
Who is important vote or voter and why?
Vote, voter or?
Vote or voter and why?
And okay. The important is the voter. The voter causes his vote or cast his vote for a genuine cause. So definitely the voter is paramount interest. His interest has to be satisfied and fulfilled. So when the electorate or the voters elect you as the member of parliament or a member of panchayat or member of a legislative assembly, in our mind, we should always have the voters. Yes, whether they have voted or not voted, it is out of question. We have to see that after being elected, we are the member of parliament of all the people representing that constituency. Not only those people who have voted for you. That should be the ambition, or that should be the desire of a member of parliament or any elected representative. So voter is the paramount interest, not the vote. Whether you have voted for me or not voted, it is a question not to be considered. When we become a minister, when we become the prime minister, when we become a member of parliament, all are equal, and we have to respect the emotions of the people, whether they have voted or not voted. So definitely voter is very important. That is the reason which I have illustrated.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable answer.
Welcome.
Thank you, Alina. Hope you got the answer. Next, I would like to call Najat of grade 9 for the next question.
Good evening, sir. I am Najadan from grade 9, and my question is, India is facing so many kind of problems, especially from Assam and Chhattisgarh. Muslims were proved with majority community. As a MP, what is your stand for this problem as representing in Kerala?
So it is a big issue now. The secular fabric of the country is under big threat. You all know the happenings in various parts of the country. And even now, even in Kerala, the best literate state like Kerala also, the communal divide is being happened. And in various parts of the country, in Assam, Chhattisgarh, in various parts of the country, minorities, especially the Muslim community, is being adversely affected by so many incidents. That is why I am saying that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, his foresightness have to be appreciated. He made India into a secular democratic country. But it is quite unfortunate to note that even Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's picture is not being shown or not being included in the list of freedom fighters by the Indian Historic Research Council means what? And the killers of Gandhiji is being admired. Nathuram Godse is being admired, and in his time a temple is being constructed in Mumbai. This is the way the country's culture is going on, politics is going on. So definitely the minorities in our country is under threat, and they want to normally now those who are in the government want to have a divide among the people on the lines of religion, caste, and all these things. So it's a big danger to the secular democratic fabric of our country. So the minorities have to be protected. It is not any mercy of any government, but it is a constitutional right for the minorities. The right to profess and practice any religion is a fundamental right enunciated in Part 3 of the Constitution. And also right to start educational institution is also a minority right. It is quite unfortunate to note that the rights of the minorities are being curtailed, the worship right is being taken away, and so many unhappy incidents are being taken in India. It is quite unfortunate. That is why I am saying that the prime concern of the country now is to protect the secular democratic fabric of our country. That is the first duty and the responsibility of a member of parliament, for which we are having a strong position, political position on all these issues.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Najat. Hope you are satisfied with the answer. Next, I would like to call Nama of grade 8 for the next question.
Good evening, sir. My name is Nama, grade 8, and my question is, what is your role as an MP and how do you present or introduce a bill in the parliament?
This I've already told that first we have to make an intention. We have to make a theme, because I would like to have a legislation regarding all people all people in India should get not less than 6,000 rupees per month. On the basis of that, this is the theme of the bill. On the basis of that, we can draft a bill and we can present the bill in the parliament. If it is accepted in the parliament, it will become the law of the country. So the procedure is very difficult. There are so many rules and procedures are there. The time is not permitting me to detail all these rules and procedure. I think that it is not sufficient at this juncture of time in your school days to know all the rules and procedure for bringing a bill in the parliament. There are so many procedures are there. But the main thing is what is the intent of the member, because what is parliament? Parliament means it is the will of the people. In parliament, whatever expresses, it is the will of the people. So definitely, the will of the people have to be reflected in your bill. Will of the people have to be reflected in your bill. All the discussions, debates, observations shall be the will of the people. So definitely, in bringing a bill, the main thing is what is the theme of the bill. On the basis of the theme, we can definitely build up a bill and it can be presented before the parliament.
Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
Thank you, Nama. Hope you got the answer. Next, I would like to welcome Amna of grade 8.
Good evening, sir. I'm Amna Shahnas of grade 8. I've heard that you have been selected for the Sansad Ratna Best Debater Award for your outstanding performance in the Lok Sabha for the last 5 years. I appreciate it very much. My question is, which kind of development programs you were introduced in the last decade for the development of education in our constituency as an MP?
So education, you see the new national education policy has been adopted by the government of India. We have made so many contributions in the new education policy as a member of parliament. We got an opportunity to submit our views in respect of the new national education policy. In development of the school education in our constituency, using the MP LAD, MP's Local Area Development Fund. In almost all the schools, we have provided with the modern computers, smart classrooms, and laptops, and so many things. And also school buildings, libraries, smart classrooms, in order to infrastructure developments of the schools. And also, so many other things are also in our mind to have a better education system in our country. We are trying our level best to have the good policy of education in our country. I think that as a lawmaker of the country, one of the important responsibility of a member of parliament is to take part in the debate on the bills, especially and on the policy making, in which also I am giving my maximum contribution for the infrastructure development of the schools and colleges in our constituency, as well as making a good education policy in our country so that the future of the country will be safe.
Thank you for your valuable answer.
Thank you, Amna. Hope you are happy with the answer. Next, I would like to call Muhammad Yasin of grade 9th.
Hello.
Amina.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Like, I think the it is over, right? The entire question.
Yes.
Yeah, we can wind up. Okay. So go with the next one.
Okay, ma'am. Next, I welcome the backbone of our school, without whom had this would have remained incomplete. I invite you, Rashid sir.
Sir, you are muted. Assalamu alaikum and very good evening to all. First of all, I want to say a big thanks to Mr. N.K. Premachandran sir, because who accepted our invitation and he has joined today and he was interacting with you all. I'm really happy to that this is my first initiative. So, we are planning to invite all the leaders to interact with our child to know, to be a leader, what are the qualities are needed or what are the struggles we have to overcome, and what is the quality of leadership that had to be communicated. You did it very nicely. Thank you so much. The answers you were delivering was really incredible. Thank you so much, sir. And my dear children, you have to learn from him. The one thing which I impressed most about the sir is we went to meet him in the early morning. A lot of people are coming to meet him. He was not tired. He was not hesitating. He has a pleasant face and he's interacting with each and every people. Then and there, he's doing the needful things. Whatever he can, he's doing his level best to those who are coming in need. He's doing it. So that also I'm really thankful to you, because being in Tamil Nadu, I have met a few more MLAs, not MPs. So they are not like you, to be frank. You are very supportive. You are down to the earth to help the people how much you can. So I give a big salute to you, sir. I hope my children also, I request my dear children also to follow his strategy. Whenever people come to you with a need, you should be with them and you do whatever you can at your best. You should deliver it without hesitation. So that's the point I learned from N.K. Premachandran, sir. Thank you, sir, for beginning to understand that.
Welcome. Once again, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude for affording me an opportunity to interact with these young students who are the future of the nation. Once again, I wishing you all the best.
I think he have a network problem, I think. So there was a network issue from your side.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Rashid sir. Finally, I would like to call Zahra Mubash of grade 9th for vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I, Zahra Mubash of grade 9B, on behalf of Peace Public School, Kollam. First of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. With His blessings and grace, we are able to make this event what it was. On behalf of my school and all who have gathered, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest N.K. Premachandran Sir, Honorable Member of Parliament, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace this occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Thank you, sir. A special mention to our respected principal, Mr. Rashid Muhammad Sir, for being the catalyst and stimulated us to do our best and standing as pillars of strength. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thanking our lovely teachers for their untiring efforts. Last but not the least, a big thank you to each of you who made this occasion memorable one for all of us. On behalf of Peace Public School, let me thank all students. Thank you, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Zahra. And
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
in the
Thank you. Wishing you all the best. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.